Hello everybody, my name is Shani Jones and this is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. I'm your resident certified sex coach and we are here to talk about sex crimes against humanity. Before we do, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification button. I want to know your thoughts on these videos, so please comment, please share, and follow me across all social media at DOYOUKNKY. So, usually when we do these videos, we try to educate and have some, fun. But there are some very dangerous and seedy parts about sex that don't often get talked about as much per se. And so we're talking about sex crimes, and some of them are obvious, others not so much. So hopefully you're a fan, because I'm a fan of Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit, and this is the TV show where they talk about all of the possible crimes that happen in a sexually based nature. And when we talk about sex crimes, again, when we're talking about non-consensual sex, rape, and sexual assault, no brainer, that's a sex crime. Having sex with minors, sex crime. Child pornography, sex crime. There are also things that perhaps but you don't think about. Like, did you know that it is a sex crime to have sex with someone knowing you have an STD, unprotected sex with someone knowing you have this, and then exposing them to that disease, that STI, especially when the STI is incurable. So don't get in it. I know laws vary, but it's a crime to do that. It is a crime to be in an incestual relationship, even if you are consenting adults. Incest is a crime. Exhibitionism is a crime. A lot of people, and you have to, don't twist exhibitionism as, oh, I've gone to a swinger party or a club or some orgy and I'm watching other people have sex. No, you have their permission to watch because you're having sex in an open space, and it's a shared open space for sexual activity to happen. Exhibitionism is when you are exposing yourself, indecent exposure, and someone who has not agreed to participate in your sexual act is now exposed to your sexual act. So that level of exhibitionism is a crime. Voyeurism is a crime. So, not going back to the conversation where we're having the swinger party, the orgy, the swap, whatever it is. If you are watching other people have sex, then it's not a crime. Because they know that you're watching them. If you are peeping into someone's bedroom while they are getting dressed and they do not know that you are there, that is voyeurism, because you're now peeping Tom, and I can't remember what they call the peeping female, but that is a crime. Sodomy is a crime in a lot of places. Still, in a lot of Muslim countries, is homosexuality a crime, and it's Catholicism and Islam countries, because homosexuality goes against their religious principles. The act of sex between homosexuals is also a crime. Bestiality, sex with animals. Why? No consent. Necrophilia, sex with dead people. They can't give consent, and probably something related to necrophilia and consent that makes it a crime, but that's a crime too. Cyber sex trafficking. And so people are caught up on the internet and things like that. If someone is being held against their will and the use of the internet is there to help facilitate them being or receiving money for their services, that's cyber sex trafficking. Human trafficking, which usually has a sexual component, and a lot of those sexual components are related to children who are being sold into slavery and captivity as sex slaves. Human trafficking, sex trafficking is a crime. Frauderism. Frauderism is a person who receives sexual arousal by rubbing up on strangers in a public place. So, you know, it's that person who, when you're perhaps riding the subway and they're just a little too close to you and their pelvis is right up on you, that person is doing frauderism, which is in the same vein as exhibitionism and voyeurism. Then you have telephone scatologia. Scatologia. I know I was going to get it right. Scatologia. Which is basically somebody who gets off on making obscene phone calls. We've all had that person. Then we have things that seem to be fun, like streaking. You know, that person that has taken off all their clothes and run across the sports stadium field and they get tackled. It's illegal to go streaking. There are certain aspects of BDSM that are crimes. You know, now ideally they wouldn't be, because again they're amongst consenting adults, but again laws vary by location, by state, so you gotta really be cognizant about the acts that you expose yourself to and what the ramifications of those could be if caught. Prostitution. Prostitution is, especially in the United States, is illegal. The one place where prostitution is legal is the state of Nevada, and it's not even the whole state of Nevada. There are only certain areas within Nevada where prostitution is legal. If you want to know where prostitution is legal, then you can go to Canada, Thailand, Germany, Australia, Mexico. There are others, but you know, I don't know if that's a consideration when you're planning your vacation, but you know, I want to plan a trip to Amsterdam to go to the red light district just because, you know, research and all. I have to go. I have to go. There are things to consider when you're talking about prostitution. Again, laws vary depending on where you are, so know your laws, know what you can and cannot get away with, because in certain areas prostitution can be 100% legal, it can be limited, or it can be 100% illegal. So you got to know those ranges. You got to stay on top of it, because you would hate to get locked up for committing a crime that you didn't know was a crime, because ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law. Something to that effect. Let's see, what else? Oh, I've done a full video on this, so if you get a chance to watch it, I would appreciate it. But there's something called female genital mutilation, and again, in a lot of Muslim countries, African countries, this is a practice where in some way, shape, form, or fashion the clitoris is removed, and it's only done to limit sexual pleasure. There's no health benefits to it. There really aren't even any religious reasons for it. It's really just to limit or destroy a woman's ability to enjoy sexual pleasure. You know, it's more of a custom and a tradition, and it's, you know, the male's ability to exert power over her. That's sexual control over her, because if she doesn't enjoy it, she just takes it. She's just there to be his receptacle, you know. So there are approximately 125 million women across the globe that are impacted by FGM, female genital mutilation. So it's definitely a human rights violation against girls and women. So if you want more information on it, please look for the video that I did on it, or again, do your own research. The shit is real. It exists. It's terrible. The counterpart to that, though, is circumcision for boys, and there's a lot less argument about circumcision for boys, but in weighing the health benefits of circumcision over the health benefits of not being circumcised. So again, you have to, and circumcision is usually based in a religious or a custom stance. So it's a personal decision that you have to make for yourself. So just keep in mind that there are certain things that, you know, when you have consensual acts between adults, that depending on where you are can still be considered illegal. So we're still living in the world of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and I was doing some research and it turns out that, you know, in England, they were already putting things in place, putting policies and laws in place to help flatten the curve. And on June 1st, England made it illegal for two people not living together to have sex. So it was like, wow, you can make that illegal, but okay. So if you did not live with that person, you were not allowed to gather in public or private places with two or more people. They were basically making it illegal to congregate with anybody, indoor or outdoor, in public or in private. Both parties could be prosecuted under the law if caught. You could be fined up to £100 if you were caught. But if you paid it within 14 days, they would cut you a break and only charge you half of it. Because certain places prostitution is illegal, you would still be able to have sex with a prostitute because they had to pay their taxes on the act versus just a non-transactional sex act or non-transactional for pay sex act. So I don't know, that was England. I wish I knew someone who was in England to tell me how well that's going. From a personal perspective, you know, you don't always get the nitty-gritty when you're talking about things when you read it on the internet or you're watching the news. So, you know, I think that we have to ask ourselves, you know, even in the coronavirus pandemic, how far is too far to go to impede on somebody's sexual rights, to regulate their sexual rights for the greater cause of flattening the curve? I don't know. You give me your thoughts. I mean, if wherever you are in the world today, if your country made it illegal for you to have sex with somebody that you were not married to, and you could not have company, and you could not visit someone, how would you respond to that? How would you deal in this quarantine environment that we're currently in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you again for spending this time with me. I will see you on the next video, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the new kinky you. I'm Shani Jones.